Hello, dear ones. I am coming mid hot flash. This is an ice pack, and it is my favorite thing in my life. And as I put it on, I was thinking about how this ice pack, which is like a special, it's called the Headache Cat. You can get it on Amazon or they have their own website. It has like little ice things in it, and you can Velcro it around your head, or sometimes I put it around my neck. This one item is probably the most valuable material item I have because it has done such dramatic things for me in terms of distress tolerance, just like taking things down a notch. It helps so much. There is a reflex called the dive reflex, which when you get cold on your face, or apparently your head too, um, it lowers your heart rate and it helps you to like move out of that fight, flight, or freeze and back into your executive functioning. And like without fail, if I'm at all feeling a little like not great, I will grab my ice pack and it helps so much. It is the like number one thing I use in my life. But specifically since perimenopause started, I have earplugs in and it's making it hard for me to hear myself. Okay. So specifically since perimenopause started, it has also been like so influential in my life, along with the air conditioning. Like right now I have a blanket and an ice pack and air conditioning because I am like constantly this mixture of hot and cold. Sorry, I thought that was like something on me, but it's my hair. Um, Mixture of hot and cold, which I was so excited to find out that there is something called the perimenopause flu. And the perimenopause flu has like flu symptoms. Here, let me just read what it says in Chat GPT. Um, oops, hold on. Hold on, everybody. Um, it has like chills and here it is. Fever, chills, shivers, aches, and fatigue. Okay. And it says the menopause flu is a term that is used to describe flu-like symptoms that can occur during perimenopause. These symptoms can feel like the flu, but without other symptoms like a runny nose, mucus, or coughing. Hormonal changes and stress during perimenopause can impact the immune system, making it easier to get sick and take longer to recover. Um, okay, and then other symptoms of perimenopause include hot flashes and night sweats, irregular periods, joint and muscle pain, low sex drive, mood changes, vaginal dryness, weight gain. Um, I love it. Ways to support your immune system during perimenopause. Wash your hands with soap and water for at least 20 seconds. That's hilarious. Okay, so boom, as I'm getting over this like hacking cough that I've had forever. Okay, so perimenopause flu. I knew someone who got it like right before their period, and I am no longer bleeding because I take testosterone, like a heavier dose, a higher dose than most people do for perimenopause because I also take it for gender dysphoria. Um, and so I no longer bleed. And I thought when I heard this person say, like, oh, you could have the perimenopause flu before you get your period, that I wouldn't be able to have the perimenopause flu. But it turns out I do have access to the perimenopause flu. Um, and it helps me remember that even after menopause, but for a lot of people who start taking testosterone in higher doses for like being trans or any kind of gender dysphoria, often have what's called a phantom cycle. Um, and so they will have like the PMS and like fatigue and uh like just being worn down, all the stuff that can happen with a menstrual cycle without bleeding. And I totally have found that to be true in my life. So I think I have both. I am recovering from an actual like cold type virus that my kid but I think I also, when I have these moments of being like I am so hot and I'm freezing, it's like having a fever and chills. And so I think it's the perimenopause flu. So add it to your list. You're welcome. Also, I wanted to acknowledge a few other things that I don't hear people talking about a lot with perimenopause that have affected me, and I have been able to confirm are perimenopause. So the first one is just like overall dryness and itchiness and irritation, with like any type of skin, but also with your eyes. So I have started using, they're in the other room right now. I meant to bring them. Just like artificial tears, I think is what it says on the eye drops. I used to take these great homeopathic eye drops, but they like banned homeopathic eye drops in this country, which if you know how to get homeopathic eye drops, please tell me in the US. So I got these ones called artificial tears, and that is helping. Like I just put eye drops in often because my eyes get like really dry and itchy and irritated. Um, and then my skin in general, like I have drier skin, more lotion. But this one that I don't hear people talk about a lot that I found out from trans forums is like chafing of the labia, like your vulva, lips, or whatever are the labia. So it's like chapped lips, literally, which I think is hilarious. But like it happens to me even when I walk sometimes. And this can happen from just regular perimenopause because it's like related to a dropping in estrogen, I think. Double check that, I'm not sure. Um, there's like just less moisture in the whole body, which also happens in that really like moist, sensitive skin of the labia, and the vaginal canal apparently can be like really dry and chafed, which like I don't have much interaction with my vaginal canal, but with people who are having penetrative sex uh with a toy or with a penis or with a hand, anything like that. Like that can be really dry and can chafe easily, also creating a lot of pain during sex. And so testosterone can also dry that out. So for that, they have like estrogen creams that are actually like vaginal creams that are supposed to try to like rebuild that like that tissue, if you will. But I also I tried that and it didn't really work for me. But I have sort of had like a double approach of using this it's mostly coconut oil, but it's by a company called Honey Pot. Let me just see what it's actually um vendor. It's called let's see, Soothing Lavender Vulva Cream. And like I said, it's mostly coconut oil, but I think it has some tea tree oil and like a few things in there. Mint maybe, lavender, that's like soothing. So putting that on before going on a walk. And then obviously if you're having those types of sex where you're getting some friction there, using tons of lube or whatever you use for lube, just being like really generous with that. Um, and then what's the other thing? And then taking a vaginal probiotic. So like a lot of times they'll say women's probiotic, and then it'll say in small words on it like supports urinary um and urinary health and healthy vaginal pH, and that has really made a difference. Taking it's not just a regular probiotic, it has like extra things for like vaginal health, that really has made a difference. And I haven't I loved the honey pot one, but they stopped making it. And now it seems like most of them are fine. That honey pot one was like excellent, but they discontinued it, unfortunately. So some type of like vaginal health probiotic or women's probiotic, which is obviously very gendered, and then some type of like vulva cream. They sell a bunch of different ones, and I tried a bunch of different ones, and most of them were like irritating to me. But this honey pot one, I like everything that honey pot does. They have a lubricant as well. Um, but their soothing lavender vulva cream is very nice. I used to be able to get it at Target, but I don't think they have it anymore. Um, so yeah, consider that kind of stuff if you're having any of that, or if you're like, why is it like, why do I feel like I'm getting like a like blister on my vulva when I like take a walk, right? If that's the case, it's probably related to perimenopause and just the like drying out of those tissues, and they can use support. Okay, what's else on my list? Okay, the not sleeping testosterone really helped me with the not sleeping. So lots of doctors don't like offer testosterone right off the base. But you can take a very low dose that doesn't result in like secondary sex characteristics. So you don't have to be worried about like your voice lowering or having facial hair. So ask your doctor about that, and testosterone has less side effects. I'm not a medical doctor, but like you don't have to stop testosterone at a certain point because there's a cancer risk, which you do have to do with like estrogen. Um, and the ice pack for hot flashes and also irritability. And then I take something called Maca Fem. I'll put a bunch of links in this with all these things. That's like maca root based. That really helps me with the hot flashes. I stopped taking it in even with the testosterone. I started having the hot flashes when I took a break from the Maca Fem. So I really recommend that. And then my favorite book of all the things that I've read about perimenopause is called What Fresh Hell Is This? And it's excellent. And particularly, it was helpful for me because it was written by a non-binary person. So it's not like super women focused in the same way that all of the rest of them are. Um, and then what else is on my list? Oh, and then food cravings. So food, I was not a person who, I wasn't an eater really before perimenopause slash testosterone. And I can't like really separate out the two because I started testosterone not too long after starting perimenopause. But even before I started the testosterone, I started having big food cravings, which didn't happen to me before. Like my first like really big hot flash huge perimenopause night, I was like, I need to eat like 6 donuts, and I did, which I was never a person who did that before. And now I'm noticing in the past, especially 6 months to like a year, I've been plant-based forever, like a decade or more. I've been craving cheese and dairy, like Cheez-Its and macaroni and cheese and things like that. Um, and just craving more food. I have talked before about how that's referenced in the 55th gene key, that like a craving for like salt and preservatives, like preserved food is, or processed food is a part of the like transmutation of the way that our bodies are processing stress chemicals. But I think I know that food cravings also are a thing in perimenopause. And my response to that is I'm just going with it. Like I'm just letting my body do what it needs to do. I did stop caffeine related to perimenopause because my anxiety was getting really, really high, and that's one of the things that they recommended. Um, Apparently, coffee caffeine has a different kind of relationship with anxiety than tea caffeine. So if you're like a big caffeine person and you don't want to consider going off of caffeine, you could play around with tea versus coffee and see how it feels in your system. Um, and then with sleep, I'm a big proponent of like rest versus sleep. So like a lot of times when I've talked about this before, when we're up in the middle of the night or early in the morning, we're like pissed because we're like, I should be sleeping right now. But I like to think of it like on a Saturday morning, if I don't have to get up for anything, how luxurious it feels to just like lay in bed, not sleeping, like kind of half dozy, like not sleeping though. And I try to use that same perspective, like in the middle of the night, like, oh, how luxurious this is that I just get to like lay in this bed and like be cozy and not have to do anything. And just let myself rest, even if I'm not sleeping, because having my feet up and like laying down in soft stuff and like doing something fun, maybe listening to a book or reading a book, is restful for your system, even if you can't actually sleep. Okay, those are my perimenopause ideas. Share any others that you have in the comments, and I love you all.